Hey y'all, it's Teresa with Scraps of Joy. Just wanted to bring to y'all a project share that I made last weekend for a costume party that my husband and I went to. Um, I had decided to dress up as steampunk, so of course I needed to have a hat and some goggles. So I made this top hat to go with my costume. The hat was constructed out of poster board and Gorilla Tape, which is just a really sticky duct tape. I used it. First, I cut the shape of the poster board to go around my head, and my suggestion is that you cut it just a little bit bigger than your actual size that you'll need, because once you add on all the tape and everything else, it's going to cause it to get bigger. So like I said, I made it out of the poster board. I cut it to fit my head, and then I just cut the top and then the brim and adhered it with the tape. And then I did apply duct tape all around it as well, just to give it some more stability. Once I had all that, I went ahead and covered it in foil tape that I had cut down in different sizes and then put in different patterns, just so it looks like it was fashioned out of metal. Um, Once I had covered the entire hat in the foil tape, I did put some hot glue on top to form rivets, and then I put some more foil tape on top of that. And then I also took one of my paper piercing tools and drew lines and X's and everything, just to give it some texture and make it look like it was stapled and all of that. After that was done, I took some of my alcohol inks. I used mushroom, oregano, terracotta, and butterscotch, and I put them on the blending tool or the applicator tool, and then just pounced it all over the hat to give it that nice metallic color. And then I let it set and dry. Once it was set up and dry, I then took black Adirondack paint in the pitch black, and I diluted it in water to thin it out a lot and kind of just make I guess, a glaze kind of, and painted that onto the hat. And once I had painted that on, then I let it dry a little bit and then wiped it all away. So it gives it that nice, sooty, dirty, old coloring to it. After that was done, I decided to embellish the hat, and I wanted it to match the outfit that I had made to go with it. So I took some grunge board and I cut a corset shape out of the grunge board. I then painted it black with the pitch black Adirondack paint, and then sprayed it with the Cactus Gold Lindy Stamp Gang Glitz Spritz to give a little shine. And then I laced it up with the same gold ribbon that I used to go in the jacket. The goggles that I made, I used toilet paper rolls and just cut them down to the right size. On the goggles, I used the antique gold rub and buff, and then I just drew on with the Versamarker and embossed it with the Incandescent Copper by Lindy Stamp Gang. For the lenses, I just cut circles out of acetate, and then I used the alcohol inks in terracotta and butterscotch, just to give it a little bit of color on those lenses so they would show up better. And then I took some paper and I cut the rivets and embossed them to make them look like gears, and then just wrapped it with the turquoise color wire. And then I made it look like the goggles were attached by the brown ribbon that goes all the way around the hat. On the first side, I had taken apart a computer a long time ago, and I just pulled out this wire. It's actually the wire that has the lights to go on the hard drive, so when it's turned on it lights up. So I just used antique gold rub and buff on the wire and attached it using hot glue. and just kind of did a random little design. And then I let the wires kind of stick up with the lights on the end, kind of like a feather in the cap. And then next to that, I attached a Tim Holtz light bulb. So then turning to the other side, I used some other computer parts from the computer I had taken apart. There was a long, I think that's called a microchip, whatever that is, part of the hard drive. And I just cut it down to size and then rubbed it with antique gold rub and buff. And then that, again, I have no idea what it is, but I rubbed that with rub and buff and then just glued that onto the side of the hat as well. And that metal piece I actually found at Home Depot. I've been told it's a trailer hitch lock. Not exactly sure what it is. I just thought the shape of it was neat, so I bought it. And thought it would look good right there, so I just attached it to the hat right there. And then in the back of the hat, I used the Tim Holtz grunge board wings that I painted black and then rubbed them with the antique gold rub and buff. And then I used an Art of Cake charm. It's the bumblebee charm with the dangling gems. And then underneath that, I had rolled some beading wire in different colors. So I just used the wire, just tucked it into random places. And then I used the I Am Roses that I colored with the Lindy Stamp Gang using burnished brass, delphinium turquoise, incandescent copper, and tawny turquoise. And the roses are I Am Roses R7/8, R7/7s, and R3s. So I just adhered those to the back as well. And then, of course, no outfit is complete without accessories, so I made a few accessories to go with my costume. This is a brooch that I made. I started with a heart-shaped doily that I cut down and colored using the tawny turquoise, and I embossed it with the midnight copper embossing powder. I then attached a Tim Holtz clock face and game spinners and some gears. And there was a rose on there, but it fell off at the party. Above the clock with the spinner and all that, I attached some more I Am Roses that were colored in the delphinium turquoise and the tawny turquoise. And I believe those are the R7/7s. And then I just put two turquoise feathers on each side and then some more of the rolled wires that I made coils out of in kind of a coppery and a burnt orange color. And then just to get that all together, I put a big blob of glue and a pin on the back of it. So that is the brooch that I made. And then the lapel pin, I used a key. That is a Tim Holtz grunge board key that I used the antique gold rub and buff on. I took a piece of the doily that I made, or that I had cut apart and colored with the same colors, and then attached a gear on top of that, and an R3 rose that I colored with the incandescent copper. And then behind that, I attached another turquoise and black feather, and some more rolled coil in turquoise and orange. Okay, now looking at the jacket as a whole. This was a men's jacket that I purchased from Goodwill a couple of years ago. It was just a part of a suit jacket that I cut down and made into a tailcoat. Since it was a costume that I had worn a couple years ago, I needed to change the buttons on it, but I didn't want to hassle with changing them all out. So I used my Versamark ink pad and dipped it in the Midnight Copper embossing powder by Lindy Stamp Gang, and then heat set it so it gives the buttons that nice metallic finish to them. And then I just went and laced the jacket up with the matching gold ribbon that I had in the hat as well. So this is my take on a steampunk costume for Halloween. I appreciate y'all watching, and I have stills to follow. Thanks, guys.